He didn't choose the spotlight. He was born into it. Long before he laced his first boots, before the world knew his voice or the sound of his footsteps on a training pitch, cameras were already waiting for him. His name didn't start on a birth certificate. It started as a headline, Kai Wayne Rooney. To millions, that name carries the weight of stadiums, the roar of Old Trafford under floodlights, the echoes of goals that shifted eras. To him, it was a beginning he never asked for, but one he now refuses to run from. From the moment he first kicked a ball, the world whispered one expectation: another Rooney is coming. And every whisper followed him, every camera lens watched, every short clip of a school match, every youth highlight, viral before he even understood what viral meant. Others learned football. He inherited it. Wayne Rooney, the warrior with blood and brick grit, the kid from Croxteth who conquered Manchester and ruled English football. Colleen Rooney, the media-savvy, steel-hearted mother who learned to survive the spotlight and own it. Together, they didn't just raise a son, they raised an heir to a legacy etched into Premier League history. But legacy has two sides, greatness and pressure. Every success Kai earns will be compared. Every miss will echo louder. Every step forward will face one question: is he as good as his father? And behind closed doors, late at night, even legends worry. Wayne, the warrior, the icon, became something quieter, something more sacred. A father watching a destiny unfold, unsure whether to protect his son from the weight of it or trust that weight to shape him. Even as a child, Kai never walked into a football pitch unnoticed. At school, he wasn't just another kid with dreams. He was the kid expected to fulfill one. At Manchester United's academy, coaches didn't introduce him by number. They didn't need to. His touches were measured, his goals analyzed. Every teammate knew who he was before the whistle blew, but pressure didn't crush him. It sharpened him. While other kids played to belong, Kai played to prove. Prove that talent wasn't just inherited, it was earned day after day on grass marked by sweat and grit and silent promises to himself. He watched old clips of his father, sliding finishes, thunder strikes, the fire, the fight. And he didn't see a shadow he feared. He saw a challenge, a destiny he didn't want gifted to him. He wanted to win it. There's something almost cinematic about his early rise. He didn't just join Manchester United's academy. He started rewriting the script, breaking youth scoring records, leading teams into youth finals, becoming a name whispered across English football circles, not because of who his father is, but because of what he does on the pitch. Left foot, right foot, composure beyond his age, a mentality carved from pressure, not crushed by it. When other kids were dreaming of making the squad, Kai was chasing leaderboards. He wasn't content to play. He wanted to dominate. His father never pushed him into football. He didn't have to. The game was already there. In his blood, in the roar of the fans he grew up hearing, in every stadium hallway he walked as a boy watching his father take the field. And yet, Kai is not a replica. He doesn't play with Wayne's bulldozer chaos. He plays with finesse, with timing, with a striker's instinct sharpened in a new era of football. A modern Rooney, a new chapter, a rewritten style. But away from the grass, behind the luxury gates and the celebrity world that surrounds him, there is something more fragile than fame: childhood. There were family moments that never made the tabloids, breakfasts where football wasn't mentioned, laughter echoing in hallways, late-night gaming sessions with siblings, a quiet hug before school. Those moments shaped him too. The world saw his surname. His family saw his sincerity, his hunger, his innocence, his hope. This isn't just the story of a young football star rising. It is the story of a boy discovering who he is underneath a global last name and realizing he isn't meant to carry legacy, he is meant to continue it. Because Kai Rooney is not famous for being Wayne Rooney's son. He is famous for being the first Rooney born into expectation and refusing to break under it. Some people inherit houses, some inherit businesses. Kai inherited the weight of a football empire and still chose to step onto the pitch, knowing the world would judge every touch. And in a world hungry for the next prodigy, the next superstar, the next viral sensation, he stands alone, not running from pressure, not hiding from his shadow. He faces it, he welcomes it. And as one era steps back, another quietly rises, not to replace, but to evolve. This is not Wayne Rooney's sequel. This is Kai Rooney, the beginning. There comes a moment in every prodigy's life when the world stops whispering and starts watching. For Kai Rooney, that moment didn't arrive with a Premier League debut or a transfer rumor. It began the first time he stepped onto a youth pitch wearing the Manchester United crest and the Rooney surname across his back. The cameras weren't pointed at the goal, they were pointed at him. Parents in the stands leaned forward. Scouts disguised as visitors scribbled notes. Phones lifted, recording, ready to explode online if he produced something magical, or if he failed. Every pass was a headline, every shot a prediction, every goal a reminder that legacies don't fade, they evolve. And yet through the noise, through the pressure, through the echoes of history, there he was, a boy, learning how to soar without tripping over the weight tied to his name. He didn't ask for comparisons, but they came anyway. Commentators whispered it, fans debated it, social media fired off its ruthless judgments. Is he the next Wayne Rooney? Will he ever reach that level? Or will the pressure crush him? And Kai? He simply tied his boots tighter. He wasn't chasing Wayne's footsteps. He was carving his own. So while critics talked, he worked. While the world speculated, he executed. Early mornings, cold sessions, extra touches when others were done. That hunger you can't measure, but you see in the eyes of those destined for more. A name doesn't score goals. A last name doesn't win matches. Fire does. Focus does. Quiet obsession does. Kai learned that quickly. Greatness has nothing to do with inheritance. It's built in silence, while the world doubts. He grew in the academy not as a celebrity kid, but as a footballer who began earning respect, not through last names, but through leading score sheets, demanding the ball, demanding more from himself than anyone could from him. He wasn't handed a place in that system, not by his father, not by his lineage. Football, especially at Manchester United, doesn't honor sentiment, it honors excellence, and excellence demands sacrifice. While other teenagers vanished into the comfort of adolescence, gaming late, going out, living freely, Kai lived differently. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Because the world beyond those white lines didn't call him louder than the pitch did. Football was never a burden, it was a pulse. Still, pressure never sleeps, and neither does expectation. At every match, someone somewhere whispered, "Let's see if the Rooney kid is really good." And every goal became a reply. Every celebration was humble, but every look in his eyes said the same thing. I belong here. Then came the moments every rising star faces, challenges that test not talent, but soul. A missed penalty. A match where nothing landed. A day where his name felt too heavy, too loud, too large to carry. Young shoulders, legendary pressure. And somewhere in the distance, he could hear the criticism. Not kind, not patient, not forgiving. Because the world sees children differently when they come from greatness. They don't get time to grow. They're expected to arrive fully formed. But champions aren't born polished. They're forged in the days when doubt wins, and they get up anyway. Wayne knew that. Every bruise in his own career taught him how cruel the spotlight can be, how heavy the crown feels when you're still learning how to stand beneath it. And so, in those moments, the world didn't see Wayne Rooney the legend. They saw a father kneeling beside his son after training, voice soft, steady, telling him, "Pressure is a privilege. Use it." That wasn't a coaching session. That was legacy speaking to legacy. not to instruct, but to ignite. And silently, confidently, Kai turned frustration into fuel. For every rumor that tried to shape his future, there were moments behind the scenes shaping something greater, his character. People saw the goals, the viral clips, the flashes of talent. They didn't see the responsibility, the knowledge that every move might one day be replayed, analyzed, judged, compared to a father who defined an era. But the beautiful irony? Kai never wanted to become Wayne Rooney. He wanted to become Kai Rooney. Every iconic surname in sport meets a second chapter. Some buckle, some fade. A rare few transcend the pressure and build a new era of their own. Kai is not the echo of a legend. He is the next roar. Away from football, his childhood still breathes. Family dinners, laughter between brothers. Colleen trying to preserve normalcy where fame tried to intrude. Holidays where paparazzi lenses tried to catch a glimpse of a future star, not a kid on vacation. Every beautiful moment balanced against an audience that never blinks. That's the price of being born into history. You live before the world before you even live for yourself. And yet, within that whirlwind, Kai learned something priceless: calm, self-belief. The kind of focus only those destined for the top develop. Because pressure didn't push him down. It built muscle in his mind. This story isn't about hype, it's about hunger. Not fame, discipline, not inheritance, identity. And yes, he hears the noise. Yes, he feels the weight. But he has something critics forget: time. He is young, he is learning, and greatness isn't rushed. It matures. Slowly, patiently, quietly. He isn't chasing a moment. He's building a career, one touch, one strike, one silent promise at a time. When his time comes, and it will, he will not be stepping into his father's boots. He will be stepping into his own destiny. And the question won't be, is he Wayne Rooney's son? The world will ask a different question. Were we watching the birth of a new Rooney era all along? There is a moment every athlete meets on the road to greatness. Not the moment they lift a trophy or sign the contract the world has been waiting for, but the moment they realize the future is finally theirs to write. For Kai Rooney, that moment isn't somewhere far away in the distance. It's getting closer every time he steps onto the pitch, every time a defender leans into him a little harder because of who he is, every time a camera zooms in expecting a headline, a moment, a spark of destiny. People see the story as if it's halfway written already. They speak like they know how it will end. Some believe he will rise, carrying the Rooney flag back to the top of English football. Others doubt, whispering that pressure eventually cracks even the brightest promise. But what they fail to understand is simple. This is not a prophecy they get to write. This is a journey carved from sweat, grit, silence, sacrifice. No headline can rush it. No critic can slow it. No legacy can overshadow it. Kai doesn't walk into stadiums, he walks into expectations, and yet he carries them with shoulders that are learning strength, not fear. He does not tremble beneath the legacy. He studies it, absorbs it, respects it. He hears the chants his father once heard. He sees the same crest shining under the same stadium lights. But this time the story has a new heartbeat. This time, the echo of a legend is not all the crowd hears. They hear a new rhythm, a new roar, a new Rooney rising. It is hard for people to picture the human side behind the headlines. The early mornings when training boots hit cold grass before dawn, the late nights replaying touches, finishes, mistakes in his head, not as pressure, but as fuel. He trains like someone who knows he must earn every inch. He plays like someone who understands legacy is not passed down. It is built again, from nothing, brick by brick, breath by breath. This is why his rise feels different. He isn't chasing fame. He was born inside of it. He isn't chasing approval. He already knows who he is. He isn't running from his last name. He's sharpening it. And the world, whether it knows it yet or not, is watching the beginning of something rare, a legacy renewed, not copied. Outside the lines of the pitch, life moves with the hum of privilege and pressure intertwined. There are luxury cars in the driveway, the kind that football icons earn. There are mansions with gates and long driveways built on history and success. There are flights, holidays, magazine flashes in hotel lobbies, red carpets, exclusive events, a world that glitters not because he asked for it, but because he inherited the glow of a name that shaped English football. Yet inside his world, behind the gates and glamour, there is still a boy learning who he is. Not a headline, not a comparison, not a future made in advance. A boy who laughs with his brothers, who plays games on late nights, who still hears his mother reminding him to stay grounded, who sees his father not as a legend, but as a man who once started exactly where he stands now, a dream in his chest, the world waiting. Wayne Rooney knows what the world expects of his son. But more importantly, he knows what his son expects of himself. So he guides him not with pressure, but with presence. Not with demands, but with belief. And one day people will see what he sees. That legacy is not a shadow Kai lives under. It is a torch he is learning to carry. There will be scouts watching every academy match, agents circling like hawks trying to predict the moment the headlines shift from promise to arrival, brands ready to attach themselves to a last name that has shaken stadiums for decades. But none of that defines him. What defines him is the way he moves with humility, the way he chooses patience over noise, the way he never brags, never boasts, the way he trains in silence while others talk. That is the mark of someone who knows greatness isn't rushed. It is earned, slowly, quietly, fiercely. And one day, soon, not someday, he will walk into a senior dressing room not as Wayne Rooney's son, but as a footballer the club believes in, a striker building his own era, a name not borrowed, but reborn. Until then, the youth pitches are his proving ground. Every goal is a brick. Every mistake is a lesson. Every session is a step toward the moment the world stops asking if. He will make it and starts asking how far he will go. And make no mistake, that moment is not hope. It is inevitability. Look at his mentality. Look at his composure. Look at the calm in the storm of surname and spotlight. Kids crack under less. He rises under more. He does not chase his father's shadow. He builds his own light. And one day, when he steps into the tunnel at Old Trafford, when thousands sing and the banners rise and the floodlights warm the pitch, the world will not see a boy trying to live up to a legend. They will see a man who fulfilled a destiny not because of a name, but because he worked for it. He will look up at the stands, feel the heartbeat of the club in the air, and he will know. This is not a moment inherited. It is a moment earned. And somewhere in the stands, Wayne Rooney will not watch as a legend. He will watch as a father, eyes proud, knowing that history did not repeat, it evolved. The beauty of this story isn't in where he comes from. It is in where he is going. He isn't writing the next chapter of Wayne Rooney. He is writing the first chapter of Kai Rooney. This is not a sequel. This is not a shadow. This is the beginning of a throne passed not by entitlement, but by effort, by focus, by fire. The legacy does not end. It grows. A new era is coming. And when football looks back on this time, when highlight reels stretch across screens and stadiums echo with a familiar but renewed roar, the world will say, not this is the son of a legend, but this is Kai Rooney, the one who carried the name forward. Not copied, not borrowed, not inherited, redefined. And the world will remember. Sometimes the greatest stories aren't the ones that begin from nothing, but the ones born inside greatness that still earn their rise from the ground up. This is not pressure. This is destiny choosing its next chapter. And he is ready, focused, hungry, becoming Kai Rooney, not following the path of greatness, but building the road ahead of it.